the cringiest animations known to man. Let's watch them.
My name is Z. I lived with my best friend Gwen. We've been
Okay.
together since we were young and ran away from our foster home. Things were working well until I met my next door neighbor. His name was Adam.
Okay.
He was too handsome for me to ignore. I fell head over heels
Wait,
for him
what?
at first sight. One day I worked up the courage to go over to his place to introduce myself. When I reached Adam's house, his front door was already open. I walked inside and called out his name, but I heard no response.
Why-
Suddenly I heard a growl behind me, and
Why
I
does
froze.
a
It
random
sounded deep,
stranger
like it
go into a house? And why is my boy Anubis here? That's my question.
belonged to an
Why is
enormous dog.
Anubis here?
When I turned around, I shrieked like a maniac. There was a
Is this a
tiger
JoJo
behind me.
reference?
A freaking tiger.
why are the
I screamed
tigers
again,
so
walking backwards,
strong
falling over the
and
couch.
buff?
I jumped up and tried to run, but the tiger was
Wait.
blocking the door.
Okay, now the tigers
Adam
look
appeared
like...
with a huge stick in his
They
hand.
just
Then he
got some
shot it with a
cocaine.
tranquilizer gun. The moment the tiger
And
fell,
now,
I fainted with relief.
Master
My entire world
64
turning
just
black.
shot him
I woke
with
up
a
to Adam
360 no scope. Wait, what the hell? This man went from being buff to like this weirdo.
giving me
What
CPR. I felt his hands on my chest, his lips on
Okay.
mine. I woke up gasping,
Okay.
reaching for my inhaler. I was having an asthma attack.
She's
Once I became
taking
stable, Adam got me some water. I
inhalers.
forced him to explain himself
And then some water. And then she's like going to kill him.
to me as soon as I got the courage to speak again. He told me that he was a smuggler. He brought in tigers
dude
from abroad and he
smuggles
sold them to rich
tigers?
people living here in
Wait,
our
is
city.
that Tom
He
Nook?
brought them here from the docks in his truck and stored them in
He throws
basement.
tigers into basements.
again. He told me that he was a smuggler. He brought in tigers from abroad and he sold them to rich people.
Yeah, that's definitely Tom Nook. That's definitely Tom Nook, alright. I don't have
living
bells,
here in
Tom
our
Nook.
city. He brought them here from the docks in his truck and stored them in the
He
basement. There were
throws them
5
in
tigers in his
basements,
house at the
just what a
moment.
normal
One of them got
person
out
would
due to
do.
rot.
Okay. How do the tigers go
walls.
to,
I couldn't
like,
make
they're
sense of
taking
this.
drugs?
How much money could a
to,
tiger
like, they go to the gym 24/7. And now look at them now. They're drugs and
possibly
go
get
to
him?
gym
Could it really be enough to risk being eaten
24/7.
alive? Adam told me that one tiger
Wait,
could
is
go
that
for
Batman?
millions of dollars, if
Why-
not hundreds of millions.
why is
I was
there
amazed at this
a
news. With the
tiger
sale of only one of these
living
animals, this
on
was the kind of money
stacks
that one
cash?
could not pass up
And
on.
why is she drooling? That's disgusting.
I told Adam that I knew that this operation was highly
Okay.
illegal. If he didn't want me to rat him out, he would have to
Okay,
give
why
me
is she now
something.
Mickey
He would have to
Mouse?
allow me to join his business and get my
Okay,
own
now
share of the
they're
sales.
wearing
At first, he was
suits.
unsure, unwilling to be
And now this
blackmailed. I
man's
told him about my
Italian.
experience managing my
And
own
now,
business, to
look
show
at
him I
this
could be
anime dude.
valuable. Eventually, he agreed that he could use a second
Okay.
set of hands, and he was
This was
already
like
searching for help. Having his neighbor help him would be convenient too.
Okay,
He
the
agreed to my
neighbors are
terms, and I
helping.
went home for the
And
evening. The next
And they now look like they're from a freaking cartoon.
day, I
Oh,
joined
wait,
Adam's
it is a
tiger
cartoon.
smuggling trade. Every night at
Don't
7
skip.
p.m., a buyer would stop by. Adam was extremely careful and only
a
allowed one
limo,
buyer to visit him each
and-
day. The buyers
then
were
a
enormously
gray dude
wealthy.
who
The
gives them
sheik,
a
a
lot of
princess of
money.
an unknown
Okay.
island, a business tycoon. My bank
Okay,
account began to
okay,
swell up
okay.
very quickly. I loved
His
my life
bank
so much
account
at that
go
time.
brrrr.
I could work beside my crush every day. Adam and I flirted endlessly and even made out on
Oh hell no! Oh hell no! No 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 no! Cut the scene!
some breaks.
Cut the
I
scene!
could suddenly
No
afford
no!
things I could
told you
never
not to
even
keep
dream
the
of
scene.
purchasing before. I decorated my house,
now
got all
shopping.
new gadgets, and even bought my roommate Gwen a whole new
Okay, now
wardrobe.
friend.
Gwen was shocked to see how much
Okay,
money
now
I was
friend.
drawing. She knew I
Also
wasn't
give
from a rich
money to
family.
friend.
She knew how much
And
money
now
I
also
made. I knew I
buys.
should have been careful
And
to
now
spend
friend
less
also
money around Gwen
sus.
in order to keep a low profile. But I couldn't help
The
myself.
friend
It was
thinks
my
that
first time
she's
being
the
so
imposter.
unbelievably wealthy. Gwen's suspicions grew stronger. She
How did she go from this to
started
this?
asking me where I was making all this
How?
money. She demanded to know what I was doing in Adam's house every day.
went
I told her that I was
investigating,
dating
okay?
Adam and that Adam was
And
from a
then,
very
like,
rich family,
they
and so
were
he liked to spoil
walking
his
and
girlfriends.
ish.
Gwen seemed satisfied with that answer, so
pretty
I
sure
moved
she's going
on.
to
I
go
underestimated
investigate.
her.
These
One
are
day when
very
Adam and I were
cringy
working
things.
down in his basement, Gwen sneaked into his house.
And
She
yeah,
had decided to
I was
investigate
like,
Adam. She was suspicious of some rich guy spending too much money on her friend for ulterior motives. Unfortunately, we left the coat
This
closet
girl.
open, which is where the basement door
You will not believe what's
lay.
happening.
Gwen came downstairs and found us in the basement,
She went
surrounded
in.
by tigers.
Oh, JoJo reference. This is a freaking JoJo reference.
locked in
Oh yeah,
cages.
the tigers
Gwen
are fat
demanded
now.
to know what the hell was going on.
And now
we had
she's
no choice but
screaming,
to tell her the
and
whole
now the
truth.
tigers
She
look
had
like
caught
happy
us red-handed.
and
Unlike
not
me,
happy.
Gwen was really
I'm
freaked
saying
out
that
by
they
our
look like a
illegal
character
activities. She
that's
wanted to
named
go to the
Happy.
police immediately,
Well,
and Adam pulled out his gun to
wait,
stop
is that
her.
a
The
Final
scene could have
Fantasy
turned
gun?
grisly, but I managed to convince Gwen not to rat us out.
That's
I asked her to join our
Tom.
business instead. Adam was hesitant, but I
That's
told
Tom
him
and
that with Gwen
Jerry.
on board, we could hide tigers
with
in our
bears.
basement as well. One buyer
Okay,
could come
they
to each
just
house per
went from
day as
normal
planned,
to
but our
fat.
profits
How?
would double. Adam
And they
fell
got
in
like
love
an
with the idea then.
well,
Gwen was convinced when she
yum.
heard of the
And like
spectacular
money was
amount of
like
money she'd received.
became
Business
like
went
a
smooth and
boom
steady
buff
for weeks
person.
after that day. Adam began to transfer twice
And
as many
everyone
tigers a
was
week
like
from the docks to the
laughing and
houses. He was the only one allowed to do that. He maintained that only he knew how to handle the tigers and to keep them calm.
This
Gwen wanted to
dude
go check out the docks,
could
but
be
Adam
the new
refused,
person
saying
for
he didn't
Game
want
of
to
the
spook out
Thrones.
his
I don't
dealer.
know.
The dealer only worked with him.
Well,
I was
this
fine with that, but Gwen was
is a
not.
dark
She
blue
thought it was
guy
weird that Adam wouldn't
who
take us
also
to see the
needs money
docks where
and
the
also a
tigers were brought in.
businessman.
She also thought
Oh,
it was
look,
strange that Adam
tigers
agreed to
and
split his
money.
profits with us instead of silencing
Why do
us
they
with a
look like
one-time
sheep,
payment
man?
or with his gun. I promised her that Adam was
Why
not a
do they
killer.
have
Gwen
the
wasn't
Final
convinced.
Fantasy
She
gun
suggested
again?
that perhaps the tigers cost a lot more than Adam was
she's
saying.
thinking that
Perhaps
they
he was making a
have
secret
money.
profit without our knowledge, using our labor to make extra money from us. Gwen and I waited for a day when Adam was out, and we sneaked into his house. I knew that Adam wasn't cheating us, but I had no issues with confirming the price of these tigers online. We needed pictures of them to make sure we got the right quote. We
could
reached the
tigers go
basement and began
from
to click photos quickly. One of the
drugs
tigers was acting strange. It seemed to be
chibi to fat?
puking. It was crouching
To, like,
weirdly and
going to the
gagging,
gym
but nothing was
every
coming out.
single day.
Suddenly, the tiger retched loudly,
Okay, now
and a
they
packet
barf.
slipped out of its mouth.
Okay. That's what the
Stared at the
dude is
gross, sloppy
feeding
item
the
on the floor.
tigers?
It was a small plastic bag
Bags
full of diamonds. I couldn't believe my eyes. But Gwen was
Okay.
right. Adam wasn't just smuggling
This
tigers into
needless
the country.
guy.
He was also smuggling diamonds.
And now
And he
this-
was lying to me
this
about
guy
it.
looks
That
like
one packet of diamonds
flipping
alone could get
JoJo
Adam a cool
reference.
$1 billion.
Look at this.
He had been fooling us this whole time, giving us a few
$1 million
measly millions
a
while
lot.
pocketing more money than we could ever dream
And
of.
this
I
dude's
couldn't
like,
believe that he was lying to
"Oh my
me.
God,
It stung
let's do
so
the
bad.
chica dance."
Here I was thinking that we were
Wait,
becoming
this
partners in
dude-
work and life,
This
but
girl became the Avatar. She's the last airbender.
he was
not
just
Aang.
using me.
And dumb.
He was
and
lying to
stupid.
me. It stung so bad. Here I was
She is the true last tiger
thinking
bender.
that we were becoming partners in work and life, but he was just using me. I knew we had to do something to
Okay,
take
this is
control
a
of the situation.
situation.
Gwen
Now
wanted
she's
to
going to
back
grab
out.
the
She said she didn't want to
situation.
mess with some dangerous
Why?
diamond
He's
smuggler.
with this
She said
Final
that these are the
Fantasy
kinds of
gun.
people that shot others
And-
for money. I didn't want to give up.
Okay.
I couldn't. I was going to have my
Okay.
revenge on Adam for his
Tell
betrayal.
me more. You're going to stab this dude?
I told Gwen that
With your
I had a
knives.
plan with which we
And
could
this
keep the
is-
business and get rid of
Okay,
Adam.
I'ma
When she
be
asked
right
me what I was planning, I responded
And
simply,
now she
we had to
came
set
here
all of
and
Adam's
again.
tigers loose,
And
right
now
on the
look at
street.
the buff
Gwen called me
and
crazy.
the ones
Those
who
tigers
are
could
on
hurt
drugs
anyone, old
and
people,
the ones
children.
who are
We
very
couldn't
fucked. And the
be
chibi
responsible
ones
for
too.
that kind of loss.
And why do
I
they
told her
have
she could go
katanas?
back to our house and take a picture of one of the
this is
tigers
another
leaving. She could use that picture to
reference,
warn the
but it's
neighborhood.
another
Animal
anime
control would
which I
arrive
won't
soon
name.
enough. The animals would be
Animal
gone, and
control.
so would Adam.
The
We
animal
could take
control
over
came, and they got like all the tigers,
his old
which
clients
they
with
will
the
sell
tigers in
and
our
become
house.
more rich
No one
now.
would be hurt, and we would win. Gwen was uncertain, but I was
Okay,
sure.
now-
I had
now
spent
she's
too
doing
long
her
waiting
hand
for my
like that.
crush to make me feel important. Gwen and I went to the basement. We
Okay.
sanitized the entire place, removing all our fingerprints from the surfaces we touched for
Too
months.
cringy.
Then we left the room and used the
Sanitize,
remotes
that's
to
what
open
you
up the
should be
tiger
doing
cages
from
one
the
by
first
one.
time.
We let out all
Because
5 tigers
there
in
is a
Adam's apartment
pandemic
and raced
going
out the back
on,
door.
or you will
We snuck
die.
into our house through the yard, making sure
Now
to avoid the neighborhood
CCTVs,
cameras at all times.
okay?
We called the police and animal
And
control,
now
both of which
the
showed up in no
police are now
time. The
JoJo
tigers
references.
were apprehended
The
and caged
tigers
before
are
the end of the
JoJo
day.
references.
No one was
Everything is a
injured, though
JoJo
many
reference.
people were dearly frightened. Gwen and I were
By the way, if you
congratulated
do
and
not know
celebrated
what
for a
a
quick
JoJo
warning on
reference
social
is,
media
it's an
that allowed
anime,
people to
a
barricade
very,
themselves
very
in their
popular
houses
anime.
before the tiger attack.
If you do
The
not
police
know,
captured
you are
Adam and
dumb.
took him into interrogation for the incident.
Well,
I knew what
no.
Adam was going to do now.
Okay.
I knew he would tell the police all about me collaborating with him. He would
more
tell them about the
crimes.
tigers hidden in my basement and my history
He's
as his
telling them
partner.
about the
As I
partnership
predicted, the
in
police
it.
showed up to my house later that night.
Ooh,
They came in
no.
full force with a search
Oh, look,
warrant in
this
hand.
dude
Gwen
has,
and I
like,
let them in. Just as we planned, they
thing,
searched the entire
paper.
house and found
He's
nothing.
searching all
They
over
went with
to
us into
find
the
the
basement and saw nothing other than old
Now
laundry.
he looks
They were
Except name
confused, as
letter
Adam's
is
testimony
solid. Okay. the police.
That sounded really
who had,
solid,
like,
but I assured
powers
them
and
that Gwen and I were upstanding.
And now this is a AOT reference. AOT means Attack on Titan.
Moral
Yeah, so
citizens who would
Attack-
never
Attack
partake
on
in something
Titan
so
reference
strictly
because that's the
illegal. I
Attack
told
on
him that
Titan
Adam had a
flag.
crush on me for a very long time, and he
Okay,
was
now
angry that
this
I
is
had
a
not
drama
only rejected his
story, and now
advances,
he's
but
like
it was
the
my
freaking
tip
Hulk
online that got him caught. The
with
police had
human
no
skin.
choice but to believe me. After
No evidence? Hell yeah, no
all,
evidence.
they had no evidence to say otherwise.
That
Before
it's
the police
not
arrived at my
cringy.
house,
Okay.